The king's generosity. In a distant kingdom, there ruled a mighty king named Ashoka. He was feared by his people, respected by his enemies, and known far and wide for his great strength and military conquests. His throne was built upon a legacy of war and victory, and he ruled his kingdom with an iron fist. His soldiers were well trained, his treasury overflowing, and his subjects obeyed him, not out of loyalty, but out of fear. Despite his wealth and power, King Ashoka was troubled. His heart was heavy, and he often lay awake at night, burdened by the knowledge that his rule was based on fear. He had conquered many lands, but in the process, he had also destroyed countless lives. The cries of the fallen echoed in his mind, and the faces of the families he had torn apart haunted his dreams. One day, a traveler came to the kingdom, a humble monk, dressed in simple robes, walking barefoot through the streets. The people of the kingdom whispered about the monk's calm presence and the way he seemed untouched by the material world. Word spread that this man was none other than the great teacher, Buddha. King Ashoka, curious and eager to find peace for his troubled heart, sent for the monk to be brought before him. When the monk arrived at the royal palace, he was not intimidated by the opulence of the throne room, nor by the guards who stood at attention. He greeted the king with a gentle bow and sat calmly before him. "Great King Ashoka," the monk said, his voice soft yet filled with wisdom, "I have heard of your power, your strength, and your conquests. But I sense a deep sorrow in your heart, a sorrow that no wealth or victory can heal. What troubles you, O king?" Ashoka, surprised that the monk could perceive his inner turmoil so quickly, replied, "I have ruled my kingdom with strength and fear. I have conquered lands, expanded my empire, and been victorious in countless battles. But despite all my power, I feel empty. My people obey me, but I know they do so out of fear, not respect. I am surrounded by luxury, but my heart aches for something deeper." The monk looked at the king with compassion in his eyes and said, "True power, King Ashoka, does not come from the sword or from ruling with fear. True power lies in compassion and generosity. When you rule with kindness, when you serve your people selflessly, you will find a peace and strength that no victory in battle can provide." The king frowned, confused. "But how can compassion and generosity bring power? If I show kindness, will I not be seen as weak? How can a king rule if his people do not fear him?" Buddha smiled gently, his eyes filled with deep understanding. "You see, O king, fear may bring obedience, but it also breeds resentment and suffering. It creates a kingdom of subjects who live in dread, never free from the weight of oppression. But compassion creates a kingdom where people live in peace, with respect and love for their ruler. True power is not in controlling others, but in lifting them up. The more you give of yourself, the more you will receive in return, not just from your people, but from your own heart." Ashoka listened intently, his mind racing. The idea of ruling with compassion seemed foreign to him, but there was something in Buddha's words that stirred his heart. The monk continued, "A generous heart does not seek to take, but to give. You have the power to change lives, King Ashoka. By serving your people with kindness, by offering them help and care, you will create a kingdom where joy and prosperity can flourish. It is not wealth, but goodwill, that brings true prosperity." Ashoka sat in silence, pondering the monk's words. For the first time, he felt a deep yearning in his heart, not for more power, but for a way to heal the pain he had caused. He realized that his heart, like his kingdom, needed to be transformed. The very next day, Ashoka called for a grand assembly. His ministers, generals, and courtiers gathered in the royal palace, expecting to hear about a new military campaign or a decree to expand his empire. Instead, King Ashoka surprised them all. From this day forward, he announced, "I will rule my kingdom not with fear, but with compassion. I will dedicate myself to the well-being of my people, to ensuring that no one goes hungry, that no one suffers in silence, that no one is oppressed. I will use my power to build hospitals, schools, and places of refuge for the poor. I will offer my kingdom's wealth to those who need it most, and I will lead with love and kindness." The courtiers were stunned. Some were skeptical, unsure of how such a change would affect the kingdom. But Ashoka was resolute. He made his decision to lead with compassion, and nothing would sway him from his path. Over the following months, the kingdom began to change. Ashoka ordered the construction of hospitals where the sick could be treated, regardless of their social status. He established schools to educate the children of all people, ensuring that both rich and poor had access to knowledge. He opened granaries for the poor, distributed food to those in need, and protected the rights of the marginalized and the vulnerable. The people of the kingdom, who had once feared the king, began to see him in a new light. They were moved by his acts of generosity and kindness, and their loyalty to him grew not from fear, but from respect and love. The people, once divided by social class, now came together as one community, united by the king's selflessness. Years passed, and Ashoka's kingdom flourished. There was peace and prosperity, not through war, but through compassion and generosity. The king's heart was no longer heavy with sorrow, for he had found a deeper fulfillment in serving his people. His power, once rooted in fear, was now rooted in love and kindness. When Ashoka passed away, the people mourned not just the loss of their king, but the loss of a ruler who had taught them the true meaning of leadership. His legacy of compassion continued to inspire generations to come, reminding them that true power lies not in the ability to rule, but in the ability to love and care for others. Moral of the story: true power does not come from fear or domination, but from compassion and generosity. King Ashoka's transformation teaches us that leadership is not about control, but about service. When we rule with kindness and love, we create peace, prosperity, and unity. True strength lies in lifting others up, not in keeping them down. Compassion is the greatest form of power, for it heals hearts, strengthens communities, and creates lasting harmony. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.